Do you speak or understand any other language? If yes, how did you learn it?
I speak English and Spanish, and I learned Spanish from listening to my parents. They never spoke Spanish to me or expected me to speak Spanish. They always spoke Spanish to each other, to my grandparents, to my uncles and aunties. But they never talked Spanish to myself and my brothers and sisters. I think they didn't want us to grow up with an accent because they had suffered probably
So is that?
they were probably stigmatized when they were younger, in school and stuff. Don't talk Spanish. You have to learn English, things like that. And so they didn't want us to grow up with that kind of problem.
Wow. So they don't want that you speak Spanish?
They don't want us to be, I guess, what do you call it? They don't want us to be people to be prejudiced against us because we speak Spanish. That's what they went through. They went through people being prejudiced against them and telling them not to speak Spanish, to speak English, and people making fun of them because they spoke Spanish. And this has been going on since 1850, so since the Americans came.
Wow.
And when they went to school, they could not speak Spanish in school. I don't remember them telling me exactly that they were punished, but I've heard other people talk about when they went to school, they were punished if they spoke Spanish. This was up to the 1940s and 50s in Albuquerque and in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Probably in Texas too, I don't know. But so they didn't want us to grow up. It's not that they didn't want us to know Spanish. They didn't want us to grow up with an accent of Spanish, I think. I think that might have been their thinking, they want us to learn English and to learn it well. But then my sister and I decided we wanted to talk Spanish to my grandma. So that's how I learned Spanish.
Wow. Okay. Did any of your grandparents or parents speak this foreign language, Spanish, at home as you were growing up, right?
They only spoke Spanish.
Wow.
Well, on my dad's side, they only spoke Spanish. They knew English, but they preferred Spanish. On my mother's side, they spoke mostly English, but they knew Spanish. They liked Spanish better, but they would talk to us in English.
How has this influenced your views, your culture?
How is it? What?
How has this influenced your views,
my
your culture?
Oh my goodness. Our culture here in New Mexico, in Albuquerque. Well, in New Mexico we're very proud to be Spanish. We're very proud of our ancestors and our history. And lately we've been learning that we are not only just Spanish. When I was growing up, we were told we were Spanish and nothing else. Well, now we learned that we have a lot of Indian in us. We have a lot of Native American or Mexican Indian blood in us because when the explorers came, they didn't bring women with them. They brought, they came to explore.
Exactly.
To find gold and, get rich or whatever, settle another country. And so they started marrying the Indian women. And so all of our grandmothers, were Native Americans.
Wow. Okay. So do you think that that's influenced you now too much in your culture, right?
Well, all of that, yeah. All the history. I just find it fascinating and I enjoy learning about it. And all the new things that we learn now, like we've learned about being native, indigenous through the new DNA now,
Mm-hmm.
the modern technology.
Oh, yeah. And how has this influenced the culture or volcanoes in general? What examples can you think of?
How influenced my culture, it has made me want to
The
learn
trade. How has this influenced the culture of
volcanoes
volcanoes?
in general. What examples can you think of? I guess most of them really, really like the Spanish music, especially the New Mexico music. They enjoy. I remember going to wedding dances, and it was a band would play Spanish music, and we would dance, and also, I think nowadays more they embrace their culture more now. I think most of them. I'm trying to think of my friends, my cousins mostly I can think of. They enjoy learning about our history. They want to know more about their ancestors. I don't know about all Burqueños.
It's
Just the few that I know.
it's because I feel that maybe here in Albuquerque I noticed that as a foreign is that they are bilingual so faster, or they have that ability so common here in New Mexico. It's because it's like it's the reason why that is for me so surprised. It's like the heritage that they have, right?
Right, and for a long time they tried to suppress that the Anglo population, I guess, just to generalize it. And then I think the 1960s happened, and everybody started protesting about everything. And don't you dare call me that, and don't you dare try to put me in a corner. And I think that's what burst everything open. Be proud of who you are.
Okay. And at what point do the old and new generations meet through the language? Maybe in 2000s? Or between 90s and 2000s?
Yeah, through the language. Okay. I know a lot of people here in Albuquerque now that the younger generation, they can't speak Spanish, but they kind of understand it, and they know a few words, that they can. But maybe when did the older generation? I would want to say with my generation, with the baby boomers, versus our parents. But it could have been later, maybe with our kids versus us, or joining us. I can't really pinpoint when.
Okay.
Every generation, I think.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
As
they get older, maybe want to understand their parents more. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, that's true too, because I hear that people said here that maybe that her parents speak Spanish and they are speaking English, but they don't speak Spanish as has her parents, or they have that type.
Yes, my cousin. One of my cousins could not speak Spanish, and she, I think maybe, but all her life that's all she heard, so it was in her brain. And then she went overseas. Her husband got stationed overseas for a job, and she had to try to get a telephone hooked up to her apartment. The lady couldn't speak English, and my cousin couldn't speak French. They were in Belgium.
Oh, wow.
And she desperately wanted a telephone in her apartment. So she asked the lady, "Can you speak Spanish?" And the lady said, "Sí." And my cousin said, "I don't know where this came from, but I talked to her in Spanish." And I ordered a phone, and we talked to each other in Spanish. And she had never spoken in Spanish in her life. So it's there.
Wow.
It's in us.
Okay, thank you so much.
Proud.
No, that's fine.